This video is going to show you how to beat the Plaguelands Siva Grandmaster Nightfall completely solo. Bungie sent me an early playtest of this GM, so thanks to Bungie for that. I'm allowed to go through and break down this GM to you and my recommendations for it, for this Plaguelands Siva GM. So what we got mod wise? Well, there's a lot of interesting modifiers. First and foremost, arc burn, which is a massive damage bonus. Small arms, primary weapon damage is favoured and does stack with arc burn. Juggler, no ammo drops from your equipped weapon. Airborne, you deal more damage while in the air, which will stack with arc burn and small arms, it can. And then finally Daybreak, this just gives you it gives you a massive ability recharge buff to whatever you're going with. Here's the build. I'm going Sunbreaker Titan. I've went with Thermite Grenade, best grenade in slot. Increase control so that we can Titan skate, because the lower your agility, the better Titan skating will be. Then we're using Scorched Earth for more sunspots. We're using Melting Point, which is crazy good. Using Fleet Fire, which stacks up to 3 times, get a reload and agility bonus, really nice. Got a Titan Codex 5 on. And then finally, Cauterize. Enemies brought down by your fire regenerate your health. So we're in a Sunspot health regen build. Pairing that with Twilight Garrison. Reason for this is because the GM is Wretched Eye, and Wretched Eye demands very precise movement. If you don't have precise movement, you die. Very difficult is Wretched Eye. It's very difficult. One of the most difficult Nightfall bosses ever made. Ever. So Twilight Garrison for the movement goes on. Weapon wise, well, I'm going to be using a couple of different things, because as you just saw, small arms and arc burn is on, so I'm using Xalos Supercell. I highly recommend you pick up this weapon. Xalos Supercell is king. It is a king of a gun. Very, very good weapon. Then I'm going to swap to DPS for Chaos Dogma, which is a king damage scout. I am going to swap to Red Death for a bit of survivability at some point, but other than that, that's the primaries I'm going to use. I'm going to use this sniper here because it's decent at what it does in the special slot. And I'm using a dead orbit rocket because arc burn is on, and we are using an exotic primary because it's worth it. So we need a legendary rocket on, and we need some good mobile gameplay at the final boss. Arc burns on, so arc rocket is the way to go. This dead orbit rocket's actually rather good. Yeah, that's what I'm using. My build is a tier 5 intellect, tier 4 discipline, and tier 2 strength. Nothing fantastic, just, does the job. I've got raid armor gauntlets on to get increased heavy ammo drops from fallen enemies. This is OP. Means I get more heavy in the GM. But that's my build. What else can I show off to you about? Got the best ship going, Nano Phoenix, best ever ship that's ever been made by anyone at all ever. I'm not going to Wellfire shader on my Titan. That's as much showing off as I can do. On with the run.
The Splicer's High Priest has crews pushing further underground in the Plaguelands. Looks like a large-scale mobilization against a hive nest.
An army of Hive controlled by the Splicers would be the end of old Russia.
Could be the end of everything. The Devils are evolving. Neutralize them before this goes any further, Guardian.
So let's explain the moment-to-moment gameplay details of exactly what I'm doing and why. So we're going to skip the bridge encounter because you can do that. So let's just do that. Use Twilight Garrison to dodge over the spikes. Then we can follow the left-hand side here. We can Sparrow Fly if we wanted to, but I just chose to do Twilight Garrison because I like using the exotic. So we'll just dodge past here, and then we'll whip out a Sparrow. So we'll summon our Sparrow, and then our first goal is to take down the critical points. There is RNG on where the Siva obstacles or locations will be, but the screen will indicate where that first Siva is. It's 1 per area, and then it goes to 3 per area. Then we'll whip out Chablo, and we just want to take care of some of these adds. If we get really weak, we'll use our nade to get health via our thermite grenade, because we're on Solar Titan, of course. Chablo cell will melt the adds because of primary arms and arc burn. Those stack together, so that you just basically melt. And obviously when we jump, because of airborne, we can melt down captains and key targets with our rocket, because it gets a damage bonus. On one hand, small arms nerfs rockets, but on the other hand, airborne buffs it. So we've got two things going on at once. Now there's a Siva left and right. We're going to go left first. The rocket actually dealt with the captain and the Siva obstacle. The important part is to kill all of these adds, because if you skip them, you'll get punished later on, because they all go to middle. The path of these adds, these Siva enemies, is to go to middle once left and right is done. So you may as well just clear out all of the adds anyways. So that's what we're doing here, using Chablo supercell just to make short work of them. So we've got adds, snipers left and right. The Siva snipers, they have that special trace. It's like a modified version of Queen Breakers, but it's Siva. This is our next obstacle. The obstacles can hurt you as well when you get close to them. The Siva infected stuff does damage over time to you. Okay, now we need to get a middle. So middle's prepared for. I'm going to use an airborne rocket and a thermite nade and possibly super. Let's just see how I do it. Thermite goes in, then 2 rockets. Now the Siva guns, when you shoot them, it closes them up for 30 seconds. Around about. It's around about that. We use a super to finish off the captain, because the captain's actually quite dangerous. And then we will Twilight Garrison our way, Titanscape past the turrets. Even if all the adds are down, those Siva turrets are going to stay. They're going to keep reactivating. By all means, get your ammo, but just bear in mind, once those Siva turrets come back up, they can kill you quick. Very fast, they can melt you. Okay, adds should be to your right. We take care of them quickly. And there's another add here. Just take care of them, because he eats you in the back. Now, there's RNG on where your Siva obstacle may be in these locations. This is more of a maze section, and each section looks similar to the other, so it's easy to get lost. Use your waypoint markers to find out which part you need to go to next. But bear in mind, there are sniper shanks that do creep out of those doors. You can skip a lot of these adds for sure, but just be mindful of them coming out of the doors. So this is our second Siva node. We get good RNG, so I'll just snipe. That's what sniper's on for, because it just quickly one-shots them. I get pushed here. Pretty tough. Nearly get my shields broke, but that's fine. We need our third node. I'm pulling out my ghost to see where that is. I'll skip past these shanks. And we have the final node. We actually got favourable RNG on the Siva this time. Sometimes it won't be like that. Sometimes you've got to go in the room and pop a super and do that sort of thing. Alright, so we've cleared the Siva. Now this is where the Wretched Eye is truly a unique GM, because you have basically a massive ogre in middle that is controlled by Siva. Now I'm going to swap off to Chaos Dogma, because it's small arms and arc burn. This will do massive amounts of damage to the boss, even more than a sniper, even more than rockets even. So we'll jump up with a thermite to get the damage bonus. And then we're going to crouch and then do our massive Chaos Dogma damage to the boss. Now the boss can TP. He TPs right behind me. Oh no, he doesn't on this run. He TPs where he should this time. That's good. After first teleport, there is 2 waves of enemies. This is a good time to either pop super or spam thermite, scorch, sunspots. Yeah. Ogre is now released as well. Now this is where you're in a small condensed room. You've got a boss that is holding a ogre's eye for a weapon. I repeat, the final boss, his weapon is an ogre's eye in his cannon. He melts very quickly. Void burn wasn't on, but if it was, this GM is unbelievably tough on void burn. It's arc burn, so we're actually getting a benefit. Right, we skate away from the ogre in middle because he's not damageable. You can't kill him. We do 2 airborne rockets and a thermite in mid. Then we'll do our Twilight Garrison behind this tower here. Now I'm going to swap off to a tactical Red Death. Red Death works wonders because this bit is really nasty. The Tracer Shanks, because of arc burn, they are really nasty. So being able to do this with Red Death, just whip it out and then survive because the boss is hitting us with his Ogre Blasts. The Ogre can one-shot you as well. He one-shots you. If he's close to you from a stomp, you will be dead. Now the Ogre's AI progressively gets harder as the GM goes along. So right now he's just wandering the streets. But don't you worry about it. Next phase is going to be really vicious. That's where Twilight Garrison movement comes in and Titan Skate. So now we just need to keep killing the Shanks. Now I think I've killed them all. Oh, there's one left. Now I can swap back to Chaos Dogma if I want it, just in case I want to whip it out for damage. I need to pay attention to my rockets and how many I've got. And I've got some heavy in middle, take note. So I'm going to do Chaos Dogma damage here to send the boss. Once the boss is sendable, audio cue happens. The Ogre now goes into Berserk mode. And now, this is one of the hardest transitions in any Nightfall ever. Because boss has Ogre Eye, and then there's an Ogre chasing you. And he's a constant threat. You don't get a minute. You maybe get 3 seconds. So this is where the playstyle of rockets, thermite, using airborne to our advantage. And super if possible, if needed. But I'm saving super because I know that the snipers at the very end on the final phase and can wipe you. Boss is weak. Ogres to our left. Yeah, and this is where we go in. So thermite, and then we spawn kill the snipers. That's critical. If we don't do that, we're probably dead. Ogre pushes, we nearly die. Yeah, but with good movement, and then Twilight Garrison just enough saving our lives. See the difficulty of this GM. There's still snipers up in middle. Look at this. So I use some rockets, a thermite to clean up the remaining snipers, and then I can finish the boss off. The boss is quite weak. Ogre's pushing me to my left, so I need to be careful on that. Could wipe here, look. 360 rocket kill. There you go. That's a solo GM for the Plaguelands Siva theme of this Nightfall. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.
What a mess. The High Priest wasn't looking to build a hive slave army. He was just removing their body parts to be joined with Siva.
Bioengineering's become the Splicer's main MO.